I mean, are you able now to function more efficiently, more profitably? How is your team compared to the way it was previously? So that's my first question, and maybe the answers to that question will help you be appreciative for COVID-19. So my second question regards, I guess, self-analysis. What did you learn about yourself during COVID-19 that you can take forward that would make you stronger as a leader? Any one of us can be a leader in our companies, in our organizations. You don't have to be in a position of leadership, right? So I look at transformational leaders, and they're visionaries. They lead by example. And for example, for me, I think to do a self-assessment depends upon your own purpose in life. For me personally, the way I do a self-assessment is to think about, well, what's my behavior under normal circumstances, and what's my behavior in reactive circumstances. In normal circumstances, I think my purpose in life is to love others, and for me, I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on anybody else. I ask God to help me, and I look for the fruit of the Spirit, like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, right? So during normal circumstances, I think, well, I'm assessing myself as a leader. How much self-control do I have? What's my emotional maturity? How loving am I being? How patient am I with my employees when they screw up, right? I mean, am I loving to them, or am I using a discipline with love, or am I being too harsh in my self-analysis as a leader? And then in my reactive behavior, when I'm in a stressful situation like a pandemic, what are my tendencies? Well, for me, I'm probably less loving, I'm less joyful, I'm less gentle. I may have less self-control, right? I mean, goodness is another one. Goodness, a good leader, a person who has goodness is a wonderful attribute. And so I think when we're under stress, though, we may think about maybe trying to cut corners and maybe being a little less good. So my question to you is, what did you learn about yourself during the pandemic? And the answers to that question may help you be grateful for us having that experience. But I'll tell you what, one thing I'm going to be really grateful for is that hopefully, Laura, this is our last Zoom meeting, our monthly, and next time, hopefully, we'll be able to get together face to face. So just a couple of thoughts for you all to maybe pontificate for just a minute. Maybe those can be helpful. But today we are thrilled with our guest speaker, Jill Peden with L&D Mailmasters. Jill comes to us with a bachelor's and a master's and MBA from Indiana University. Today, Jill was telling me she's celebrating her 19th anniversary with L&D Mailmasters. So she knows what she's doing. Anybody who's with a company for 19 years must be pretty good at their job. Now, and the other thing is L&D Mailmasters is a $20 million company. They have about 80 employees, have 180,000 square feet. They have national clients. And Jill's going to talk with us today about some marketing concepts. I think marketing for any business is the hardest thing to do in any business is to get sales. So Jill, we welcome you. We're all ears. And then when you're done, we'll have hopefully some questions for you. And we look forward to what you have to say. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for that kind introduction. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. If I start to drown on or I get low, please wave your hands and I will rein myself back in. Sometimes I tend to get off topic. Like I said, thanks for having me today. I am Jill Peden, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for L&D Mailmasters. For those of you who haven't had a chance to work with our company yet, we are a full-service print and direct mail firm with over 35 years history in the industry. We like to help clients of all sizes relate, captivate, and cultivate with their target audience. If anyone wants to learn more about our company, I would love to have you over for a tour with myself or one of our account executives. I have to say on this side of the river, we're open. We're ready to have everybody in. Come spend some time with us. And hopefully we can all get to know each other a little better. We love having visitors here. For now, I'm not going to talk any more about our company, but please feel free to reach out, ask questions, or during the Q&A. I'd love to always talk about myself more or the company more. But for now, you're here, you want to hear and learn some more about some different marketing efforts. I believe when Laura first reached out, she asked me from our monthly brand boost to talk about something we do monthly on how to reach potential clients for our clients. So kind of talk about a few different methods that each of you on this call can use to get in front of your clients or donors. I'm assuming some of you all are B2C and some of you all are donor-based, different avenues that you're wanting to get people in the door. No matter what, your marketing needs need to be strategic and they need to be measurable. No matter which channels you're using and you decide to participate in, do it strategically. Take advantage and take an extra minute to see how it fits in your overall business plan, and think, how can it be measured? It's one thing to spend money, but we all want to know at the end of the day, what did we get for that value? I don't know if you all know, but like I said, today is my 19-year anniversary, which is crazy to me that I have done anything for 19 years. But when I started in the industry in 2002, a message had to be interacted with on the average of 3 times before a consumer was going to act on it, which I thought at that time was a whole lot of touches. But what seems even crazier is nowadays you have to hit a client 18 to 20 times with them seeing your marketing message before they're going to take an action on it. And that action might not even be a purchase decision. So the best way to get your biggest bang for your dollar is to make sure that you're getting your message in front of your audience multiple times by using multi-channel marketing or omni-channel marketing approach. So again, that's multi-channel and omni-channel marketing approach. Multi-channel marketing is the same message across multiple marketing mediums. Think about the same audience, the same message via email and direct mail. So maybe one of them an example of that might be, Chewy, the dog commercials that you see, or Cats for trying to get you to buy your dog food and cat food using their website. So when I get my emails, it's the same message as what I actually see on the commercial as in the email. Whereas omni-channel, which is also another great way to use multiple channels, is sending the same using a different message using multiple channels, getting to the same people. So an example of that might be if I wanted to offer a act now in my email. So go out right now and order the dog food and you're going to get 10% off. Whereas when I get my Chewy mailers, it might be a 20% off coupon. So there's 2 different messages getting you to act, but at different variables. So lots of different information there. So let's dive into a few of those channels for the marketing messages and how they differ and what your different target audiences might be. One thing to always think about is what your business is and where your audience might be. You know, who doesn't get 20 plus emails a day? Not 20, I'm sorry, 200 plus emails a day. So you have a lot to go through there. Anybody sit down in front of the TV and actually get commercials? You have a ton of different ones come in there. And then who goes to the mailbox every day? I love to go to the mailbox every day, and I'll talk about that a little more. But you're only having 5 or 6 marketing messages in your mailbox a day. So they're all different methods. And then who doesn't go out on the internet and maybe click on, I'm going to say, a fishing rod that you might like to have, and then it travels around on no matter what website you get on. That little fishing rod is following you around to be retargeted to get you to try to end up buying that piece. All great methods of marketing to get you to purchase. So let's talk a little bit about each of those. Branded promotional products and apparel. One of the areas that we do as kind of a side for our clients is branded promotional products and apparel. So basically anything and everything you can put your name on. Who doesn't love to get a free swag when you go to an event of a cup or take something home to your kids? Whether it's as simple as the ink pen or the coveted Yeti. Getting the Yeti at an event is like I'm going to say climbing Mount Everest of the marketing world. When everyone loves to get it, you have to think about the cost of the item. They do really add up, but you also think about the impressions that you're going to get for that logo. Your first impression that you always get is who you're giving it to. And then you get a second impression every time that recipient uses it and whoever sees it. I don't actually have any branded apparel on today, but yesterday I had on a dress that had our logo on it. So not only did I was giving the impression of it, but then every person I came in contact with was seeing our logo and our name, whether or not I actually spoke to them. And then third, if I was to give the item to someone, it's not only the person receiving it, but then everyone that they see while they're using that item. Branded apparel is great for your employees, whether you gift it to them or you place it on a company store. One of the things that I've been, I'm going to say most surprised as we have ventured into branded promotional and apparel in the last 10 years was the amount of company stores and how excited all the employees get to actually even purchase the apparel themselves, not just even have it gifted to them. Our employees are, I'm going to say, more proud to wear our apparel than, you know, I would have ever thought. And I see that across multiple industries that we take care of, whether it's in the healthcare, all of our nursing friends, they love to get to go out on their site and have something to wear over top of their scrubs. We have some that are in the school system, and then every
You're
time they get a
welcome
chance to they all love to get to wear it. So you can either give away your apparel for your employees as a gift. One of the things that I do every Christmas, along with the employees' Christmas party and different things, one of their gifts that I give them is a piece of high-end apparel for them to wear, whether it's a really nice jacket, nice sweatshirts, different things that they wear while they're here, and they always love that. But then we also have our company store. It's easy for them to have casual items to wear to work while they're still making a marketing impression for our company. More about branded promotional products. They lend themselves to great giveaways, especially this day and age where everything is a celebration. How many times do you log into social media and it is National So-and-so Day? Today might be National Puppy Day. I don't know. I haven't looked at social media today. But why not make those days a way to celebrate your clients and employees? We just missed one of the biggest ones that our clients tend to love to celebrate was last week in National Nurses Week. So I always suggest that I give my clients at the beginning of the year their marketing calendar. Look at the next year. Look at your audience. Look at your employees and decide what kind of special day that they might like to celebrate in the coming year and make a campaign around it. Include it not only in your traditional marketing channels, such as print, mail, and your digital, but drive it with a promotional giveaway. You know, one of our clients for National Nurses Day, they gave their nurses all a fleece pullover that zipped up. And then a lot of their nurses, once they got it, they put it on, took pictures of themselves, and then shared it on social media. So that marketing message not only built camaraderie with their nurses, but then they got it on social media, so then people were seeing their brand and driving people to their business as well. Any questions around promotional products before I move on to another channel? And I will open it up for questions at the end as well. Okay, I'll keep moving. Print. So digital, inkjet, offset, black and white, 2-color, 4-color, spot color, and everything in between. Who doesn't love to get a nice glossy catalog in the mail to look at, touch, and feel, and then go interact on the internet? So no matter how small, such as a business card, or how large it is an oversized print check, print will always be a great way to get your message across and in your clients' and donors' hands. People love to touch and feel messages they're reading. How many people on the call, even if you use an e-reader at times, still want to hold your books or your magazine in your hand? I know I'm a huge, in the summer, I love my e-reader out by the pool, but when it's not pool season, I love to sit in the house and have my books and my magazines in my hand. So what happens when you're holding that book or magazine, or even your mail piece or your print piece? You're creating an emotional connection with it. And that emotional connection with a marketing piece is what drives people to purchase decision. At the end of the day, no matter who they are, that's what we're wanting to get them to, is that purchasing decision. Any questions on print? Okay, we'll move along to direct mail. Like I said earlier, I've been here 19 years, so I am a little partial to the direct mail industry. and it may be my favorite marketing channel. My mom actually said to me when I started in this industry, she said, that job's not going to last. Direct mail is going to go out of business. It's going to be taken over. At that point, it was going to be taken over by the fax machine, and then a few years later by email. And as we all know, today it still stands very strong. It's a very vital way to get information in consumers' hands. And with all of the healthcare regulations, it will always be the way to get information into clients' hands. Email is great. However, you cannot send privacy information that way. Okay, so who doesn't love going to their mailbox every day? I love going to my mailbox, and I always have. 97% of Americans in 2020 still went to their mailbox every day. And maybe it was due to COVID, maybe not. But the statistics hasn't changed that much in my 19-year history here. So I don't foresee it changing that much. As with everything, it does ebb and flow. Some days it's just okay. I go to the mailbox, it's full of bills. Who wants that? No, thank you. But on other days, I'm going to say the mail gods shine down on me. I got my shiny magazine. I get a catalog from my favorite store. And I also get a package from a retailer that I purchased myself. But what do all these days have in common? I had to physically touch every marketing message. Even on the days when I'm not so happy about what's in my mailbox or not excited about the marketing messages, I physically take those pieces and I'm opening them over the trash can. So every one of those marketing messages I'm physically interacting with, whether or not I am acknowledging, I'm going to say Roto-Rooter. I may not, have any need for them today, but I saw their message. And then if I have that need, something happens at the house, they're going to be the first people I call because I'm not going to know who else to call because I saw their message. So making sure you're staying in front of your clients. Let's see. My second reason for using direct mail is the sensitivity of subjects. So if there's ever anything that is either time sensitive or sensitive in a privacy message, it's always going to go through direct mail. One of my tips that I like to give everyone is make it personal. Use variable digital print. What variable digital print is it is going to specifically speak to the person. So say I wanted to send Laura something maybe to get her to go to my veterinary office. I'm going to say, Laura, and if I knew she maybe had a cat or a dog, I'm going to say, Laura, your cat's due for its shots this year, or something that's specific. So when she reads that piece, she's thinking, oh, I made this piece just for her. Even if in reality, we can drive that through databases and we can run millions of those at one time, speaking individually to each person. And that can be done on a small scale, 200 pieces all the way into the millions. But by adding that person's full name and any kind of information on that direct mail piece, you're going to increase your response rates by 135%. It's crazy. Bottom line, people like to be talking about themselves. People like to know that you have a connection with them as well. Any questions about direct mail? I'll keep going. Okay, let's talk about digital. Everybody, I'm sure, gets hit up 5,000 different ways every day about you need to do some more digital marketing. Myself probably get at least 10 emails a day from all over the country saying, your website's not doing this, or you could do this, or you could do that. There's tons of different things out there. So you have to decide which area you want to work on and do that area really, really well before you do more. So some of the areas you can do digital, your company's website. If you have any landing pages, SEO, which is your search engine optimization, your PPC, your paid clicks, retargeting, that would be your pair of tennis shoes that follows you around on the internet. If you have any social media channels, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever is appropriate for your individual business. If you do a monthly, weekly, or daily blog, if you do any kind of video, or if you do any email marketing, there's so many different channels. It's very hard to keep up with all of them. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing you're trying to do is to make sure you're getting your marketing message at your clients. And since there is so much to unpack here, as I've done with everything else, I want to keep it at the 10,000 foot level and just give you a few tips. My first tip I always tell everyone is don't try to do it all. You can't be all things to everyone. I'm not a taco. Yes, we want to do everything we can and be everywhere our clients want to be, but we truly believe it's better to just do a few areas and do them really, really well and then add on to it. Because let's face it, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of manpower to do each of these channels. And we might think, oh, it's not that big a deal to make some posts to social media or to write some blogs until we physically start doing it. And those hours add up really, really fast. And it's much better to always be very responsive because the one thing about digital is your clients are going to, or your donors are going to interact with you via those channels. They're not just going to pick up the phone. You know, more and more people want to interact behind the computer through digital messages. They want to send, you know, if it's either a customer complaint or they want a product information, they're going to ask for it via these social media channels. So you have to be ready to interact with those people and not only send private messages, but if you're using social media, make sure you're doing it on the page so that everyone can see how you're answering those questions, because they might have the exact same question. Let's see, tip 2, decide on your voice. This is something we don't always think about until you're reading something and it doesn't make sense. So be consistent. And what I mean by voice is if, say, I am writing blogs and all the blogs are supposed to be one person, I'm going to say the business, you want them all to sound similar. Have you ever, I guess the newspaper is one good example of this. So when you're reading the front page of a newspaper, you may have different articles written by different people, and they all sound differently, but you know they're written by different people because it has who they're written by. Whereas a social media blog doesn't always say who it's written by. So you might get confused if this person kind of sounds, I don't want to say male, but maybe male is an example. And then this one sounds female, and they have different opposing views. It might be confusing if it's supposed to be coming from a business. So always think of your voice. And if you're going to have multiple people write, make sure you identify that person. So one of the things that we'll do if we write a blog, we'll just start with, this is Jill, Vice President of Sales and Marketing, or this is Brian, graphic designer. And then people can identify with their position and why they might have a little bit different take on what you're saying as well. Okay, tip 3, give your SEO, which is your search engine optimization, your PPC, your paid per click, and your retargeting time to work. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making anytime you are either you're doing it yourself or you're paying someone to do some of your online for you, give them time to work. Google does this thing where it crawls websites, it crawls our search engine, and then it does our paid per click by making our words that we're buying go up and down each month. So give people, or give the internet time to work. If I make a change today, I probably won't expect actually to see in my numbers changes 2 to 3 weeks, even possibly up to 3 months. So anytime I make major changes, I don't start judging it if it's working or not working for about 3 months in. So always giving it time. It's not something you're going to see immediate results from, and don't get frustrated by that. One of the things our president has done in the past when we've made changes, our numbers dip drastically and gets very nervous and wants to immediately change the strategy. So we've got to give it time to work, and then we can measure it. And sometimes we do have to then make edits to it, but we want to let them marinate for a little bit and see how the Google reacts to it. Tip number 4, email marketing. Be aware of when you want your message to be read. Myself, I'm B2B, and I'm sure many of the others on this call are B2B as well. So I'm not likely going to send an email blast on a Saturday morning. My audience is hopefully enjoying their family at that time and not sitting in front of their computer checking messages. and hopefully that they're not reading their emails over the weekend and won't open them till Monday morning. On Monday morning, instead of having 200 or 300 that they'd have in a day, they might have 1,000 messages. You're not going to read all your marketing messages at that time. So I like to shift my B2B to sometime in the middle of the week. I'm going to say Tuesday to Thursday. I like to do between 10 and 2 is my favorite time to send a message, because likely you've already cleaned out your email box in the morning, and then it's not towards the end of the day, because sometimes towards the end of the day we're rushing through trying to finish up projects for the before we go home, and go from there. And then that same goes for if my target audience, say, is working moms, and I want to get them to buy a pair of tennis shoes for their kids or something like that. I'm not going to send them a marketing email blast at 11 a.m. on a Monday morning. I'm likely going to wait to the evening hours on a Friday after they've already cooked dinner, picked up, and had time to sit down and really read their emails that they're going through. Okay, so that's, I guess, kind of the meat of what I wanted to talk about. I want to open it up to questions and see how I can help. If anybody has anything that they'd like to know more about, deeper dive, please let me know, whether it's on this call or reach out to me. I'm sure Laura can share with everyone my contact information. And as always, myself or our account executives are here to help in any way we can with any of your marketing messages.
Jill, I'd like to ask one question. Would you consider an example of the omni marketing, like what Kohl's and Bed Bath & Beyond does?
Yes, but they could also be they could be either, because sometimes I get the exact same, it depends which campaign it is. Bed Bath & Beyond is pretty consistent with their message, focused on their 20% off coupon, I'm going to say. So I think that is really a multi-channel marketing campaign, because I get the same one in my catalog that's in the mail, and then I get the same one that's on my coupon. I'm going to say my 6x11 card that I get in the mail, and the same one that's in my email. Now Kohl's, they actually, I'm going to say they run campaigns. Like I had a Mother's Day campaign. I recently had an anniversary campaign from them. So that would be more of an omni-channel, but both are great. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want to strive to do, is be across all marketing mediums that we're good at and where our audience is, to be hitting them with multiple messages.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does, because I just noticed that, there's 3 that seem to really stay in your face all the time, between email, going to the mailbox, maybe a text message, and that's Kohl's, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Macy's. I mean, they're constantly, you're not going to forget about them, that's for sure. But I know
they are going to be
larger companies, and they have bigger budgets to work with. So
yes, but they are also selling across multiple products lines too. So no matter what they're trying to do is make sure that anytime you're making a purchasing decision, that you think of them. If you don't know where else to go get it, you think of them. And yes, they do have larger budgets, but they are also reaching a larger audience. So sometimes how we can all control our budget, not only trying to not be all things to all people, but really narrowing down your target audience. Look at who's either purchased from you before, who are your clients coming in the door, or who is your donors. And let's make an audience of new potential people that looks like that. One way we can do that for you through direct mail, and I know there's ways to do this and we do it through our online presence as well, is we can take your list and we can look if, say, you're in a different, say, zip code for the Middletown area or a county. And then if your audience has a certain characteristic or demographic, we can purchase lists that match that. One of the things, I recently had a realtor come to me. We all know the housing market is very tight, and they're trying to get people to put their houses up for sale. And they were looking in the Floyd County area here in Indiana. and they don't want to spend their time selling $100,000 houses. They want to spend their time selling $350,000 to $500,000 houses because of commission. So we narrowed it down to by zip code, by homeowner, and by value of house. Another way you can do it is by household income, whether they have kids, different interests. One of the things I do for one of my large nonprofits in Louisville, they are throughout the whole region. We take all of their high-end zip codes that produce, not necessarily have large homes that produce large amounts for them, and we target people who have an interest in giving. One way that we narrow that down is there is a category of it's kind of crazy. It's a Williams and Sonoma catalog that has a donor aspect to it. So we buy that list, and it always produces really, really well for them.
Okay.
I've got a few
What
questions.
other questions can I? Yes.
Sure. How much more effective is four color printing versus black and white? Do you have any data?
Not specific data, but it depends on your customers. So in the healthcare industry, if you're doing statements, black and white is just as effective as four color, and it really depends on what your piece is. So if you're doing a letter in an envelope, color is not going to get you any more opens. Now, if you're doing a postcard, do you send a black and white? It's kind of your impression you're giving of your business. People want a four color. I know it doesn't answer necessarily, but
well, it's
broad.
I mean, it has to be specific to the industry. I get it. And then and this is also specific, but what guidelines do you give customers regarding the frequency of the messages?
Again, I like to do that specific to the industry, but a typical campaign that I'm going to do, if I'm running it for not only myself or I set one up for my clients, I'm going to do every 2 weeks. I want to be front of mind with that customer. And that's with direct mail. Now I'm also, I'm going to say budget's unlimited, sky's the limit. I want to hit them at least once a day in one method or another. But I think being in my mailbox too many times is also a bad thing. So I say every 2 weeks in your mailbox and using other mediums to fill in. I also highly suggest when doing a mailing to any B2C, business to consumer, I'm going to hit them at least 3 times with mail before they ever even pay attention to that mailer. Now, there is some typical direct mail. Your response rate is going to be 1% for a purchase list or someone who is not a consumer. Now, if you have a client list, a donor list that has already interacted with your company, doesn't have to mean they've made a purchasing decision, you're going to get a 5% response rate, typical average. So that's a huge difference between someone who is in the market versus someone who has already interacted with your company. Now, when you get to an email response rate, you're looking at 0.01% compared to direct mail. So you have to send a lot more emails to even get someone to interact with you. And an interaction in an email is an open. It's not a purchase, it's an open. Just as when I'm doing any kind of paid click on the internet, an interaction is getting them to click on the ad. It's not getting them to the purchase decision to convert.
0.01, what is that? 1 in 10,000? If you send 10,000 emails, you're going to get 1 response. That's pretty. That's not the way.
And everyone is different, but we do have to still be in everybody's email box, because people like I said, they want to touch and feel. They want the physical catalog. They want the physical piece, but then they're going to make their final decision on the internet. So, myself, I'm going to say a good example for me would be last night I got my Venus catalog. I looked through it. I saw a dress. Loved the dress. Well, you know what? That dress happened to follow me up in an email today. So I didn't make a purchase decision last night, but I saw the email with the dress today. I purchased the dress today. So that's how we're using the multi-channel together to get the consumer to end up making the purchase.
Okay.
So L&D Mailmasters is really a holistic approach to multi-marketing and omni-marketing, really, channels, right? So what you guys,
Yes.
you all do more than print. You do online. Can you talk a little bit about the services that you offer?
Yeah, we do full service direct mail, like I said, and that starts all the way from the beginning, whether it be graphic design. We have a full in-house graphic design team. We also have an in-house programming team. A lot of our consumers have very complicated data sets, and they will put those together instead of doing one-off mailings that are variable digital. Again, variable digital is making sure that I'm speaking one-to-one to the customer so that your piece would have your name and some sort of interest in it, whereas my piece might be the very next one that comes off the printer and goes into the inserting would have my name and information on it. So our in-house programmers can do that. We have our graphic design department. Then we also have our data processing. One of the biggest things, has anyone ever had to put a mailing together in their office? You print all these pieces, you print the envelopes, you put the labels on it, it takes forever. Everybody hates it. It's a big process, it's not enjoyable. Well, what we do is make that automated. And instead of you putting a 55-cent stamp on there, we're able to process the mail using our large equipment and save you, instead of you paying basically for the services and the postage, your postage discount's going to pay for your services 9 out of 10 times. So we get you a cheaper postage rate by using the programming. Then we have our print. We always are going to have our print. We have our offset quality. We have envelopes. We have our variable digital, and then we have our statement processing quality. So if you've ever gotten a nice 4-glossy postcard, and then you also have a healthcare statement or your Kohl's bill sitting next to it, you can tell they're different qualities. We offer both of those. We offer kitting, which is pick, pack, and ship. We'll have web stores we'll set up for our clients, whether it's their products or branded promotional we've ordered for them, or print. And then their clients can go out there, or their, a good example of this would be a State Farm franchisee. We want to make sure that we're keeping the colors consistent. So we do all of their print, whether it's on demand or in advance. And we actually don't do them, but I'm going to say we do all their print in this example. And then we have it on a web store. So then when an agent wants business cards in California, those business cards are also going to match whatever the rep is that was in New York State. We have our branded promotional products and apparel. We offer over 1 million items that you can put your name on, anything from temporary tattoos to t-shirts, everything in between, banners, large offsets, checks. I could go on for hours with all the different products that we offer there. But then we do the digital. So, you know, we could do website design, creative. We will do some content creation if people need that. I also have a partner that I like to work with there that has a little more staff on that. We can do, using a partner as well, I will do the media buys if necessary.
Okay. Any other questions for Jill from anybody? All right, well, you must have just explained everything perfectly and we all understand it.
I don't know about that, but I'm here to help and answer questions anytime somebody has something, or if you ever have just a, hey, I was thinking about doing this. Do you have any experience, or do you have any statistics on it? Happy to look into it. And sometimes I do have case studies that will match up with different things people are wanting to do.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Dr. Lesser, anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, you made some really good points. You covered a lot of areas and gave us a lot to think about. Mm-hmm. So like you said, you're doing it from a 10,000 foot level, and the detail is what makes programs work. So it sounds like you have a lot of expertise and your people in fleshing out those details. We need help. So thank you very much. And
You're
Laura,
welcome. And I truly enjoy it. So, it is kind of a passion. So I'm always happy to sit in and listen and help any way I can and not necessarily even have to use our services here at L&D Masters. We are here as a resource.
thank you.
Well, I have to tell you, I think the biggest surprise to me was how many instances it takes, contacts it takes, because that number has risen dramatically from the last time I heard a report. So that's a lot of contacts that you have to
18 to
make.
20, right? Is it 18 to 20? Is that right? Is that okay?
18 to 20.
18 to 20.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to say 26, 27 years ago, it was about 5. And yeah. So that's quite substantial.
Yeah.
But that does make sense, just as a chamber, we reach out to prospective chamber members on a regular basis, probably not as often as we should because of the time element, but you think, oh, I'm sure we're going to get a great response. And, maybe a week later, we've only gotten a few. And you're thinking, well, what did I do wrong? Or, so it's just one of those things you just got to keep after it. So
it's a numbers game, just like sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jill, I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us today. Like I said, I get her, you called it your mailer. I called it kind of like your news.
My brand boost.
But she just had some great, like, out of the box ideas, for getting people's attention. And I was like, he needs to speak to our chamber. So thank you so much for taking time out. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome. And if anybody would like to receive that, I'd be happy to sign you up for the email as well. Just get your information to Laura that you want it, and I'm sure she can pass that along to me.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to finish up just a little bit early, about 15 minutes early. So hope everybody goes out and enjoys the rest of this beautiful day, soak up a little sunshine, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Nice to see everybody. Thank you.
So Laura, I'll reach out to you.
Pardon me?
I'm going to reach out to you. Actually, I want to get her email.
Okay. All right. I'll let her know.